Good afternoon, morning, evening. I'm not quite sure where everybody is at the moment, but hello to everyone. We are here now. Yes, Carolus is doing the magic jingle hands. We are here, and Carolus and I are actually opposites today. I have black in the background, and he is in heaven, celebrating a very, very positive spirits of Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy
Um,
Halloween.
and we actually have a really, really interesting discussion here today. So I'm just going to give a couple minutes for people to roll in. I know that we're live as well on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So please don't forget to post your comments there. We have a very, very cool production team in the background. So they'll be supporting us, making sure that we get all the answers coming in. Yes, so I'm just going to give a couple seconds to those that are rolling in. I actually like this contrast that we have going. I don't think we could have planned it better. All intentional.
I am missing, I think, big pumpkin on the wall or
Pumpkin
like a big bat.
editing team will go and we'll just
We'll
slide
do
in a
that
couple
in,
pumpkins, ghosts, just flying around.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
A skeleton running by.
It's all a part of the
Um,
features that are going to be shown.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope everybody that's watching as well, you guys, if you do celebrate Halloween in any way, shape, or form, then let us know in the comments as well, right? So, if you're from, any corner of the world, I think it's always cool to know if people are also taking in that tradition of spooky scariness.
It's quite interesting actually how big Halloween has become. It's a good reason for anybody to celebrate, really. The kids go crazy, the adults go crazy. I think every age go crazy. So that's quite cool. Anywho, we are here to talk about Hostinger, but specifically Carolus's baby, Hostinger Horizons. So everybody, Carolus, he is the guru behind Hostinger Horizons. Can I quickly just ask you to talk a little bit about yourself, tell the cool people what you're doing, what you're all about? I'm going to give you the floor.
All right, awesome. So you probably see my name already, but if you don't, then my name is Carolus. I am a Hostinger Horizons expert here at Hostinger, and we do something that I think a lot of people really can make use of these days, and that is the ability to be successful online as quickly and as easily as possible. Now, if you took a look back at the olden days, if you wanted to make a website or host it, it was such a rigorous and hard process. You had to know so many things, so many processes, so many different UIs and many different tools to use at the same time, or even program at that point. But now, we're in a new age where AI is taking over the entire planet. So we don't have Terminators quite yet, and I hope we won't have them as soon as possible.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah, but I think that, manifesting that power of artificial intelligence
Mhm.
and turning it into productivity is really what sets, especially us apart from a lot of other, companies out there. And with Hostinger in March this year, we came up with a new thing called Hostinger Horizons. If you have ever heard of a vibe coding platform, so vibe coding is the ability to write code and execute it without the need of any technological experience at all. So if you are a baker who's been baking for 40 years, right, and you have never touched the internet or a website, it really is that simple. You can actually do it. It really just takes a prompt, same way you do with ChatGPT. You prompt it to do something for you. With Hostinger Horizons, you act in the same exact way. You prompt it and tell it what you need, and we'll take a look at some examples today. So I think they should be really fun and really unique as well.
Yes, and I mean, to be honest, it's just so approachable nowadays. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm tech illiterate, but I'm definitely not a developer of any sort. So it just makes it so much easier to make ideas become a visual to then become a reality that you just want to action out. Which really just opens the door for so many different types of people and so many different ideas, and it's just accessibility is unreal at the moment. So We are actually going to have a bit of a live test, I'm hoping, which is actually quite exciting because I've done something similar as well with Lovable with somebody else on the call. So it'll be really interesting to see this vibe coding feature and how effective it is being plugged into as well, like a traditional legacy platform like Hostinger as well. So the migration and the adaptation that you have to now, work well with AI is really quite incredible. But you have the luxury of accommodating both types of groups as well. Those who maybe are more traditional and have a bit more of a preference for the olden ways, and then those who are, a bit different and need a little bit more help. So before we go into it, I would like to just take a couple seconds to remind everybody this is fully interaction, like open to interaction. We want to encourage people to really jump in and be a part of the whole demo as well. It's something that Carolus is very passionate about. We don't just want it to be a monologue or a lecture. So any ideas that you guys have, dump them in the questions, dump them in the comments, and we'll try and integrate as much as we can into this demo. Carolus, any final words before we go into that live stream?
Yes, one final thought is that kind of what I want to showcase today is not just the tool itself, but kind of showcase the ability that we have at our hands at the moment. We live in a time where everything is changing super, super fast. And I think everybody can agree with me when they say, oh my God, AI might take my job, AI might do that, AI might do this. I think everyone has, various different thoughts about this matter. But I think what's important to take from this is that opening new opportunities for those people that want to really showcase or present themselves online in the online space where you have everything these days, right? The
Yeah.
internet is so huge, it's so full of content of people and stories. People have lived their lives online. People get married online as well. So it's just kind of like its own different world. When you think about it, yeah, we live the real life, but in the internet, there's so many different things that we probably don't know and will never get to know because it's so vast, an infinite sea of knowledge and infinite sea of people just interacting with each other. So I think that's kind of like a little sentiment that I want to go in here, a little philosophical, if you may.
No, I mean, I think that's spot on, and I really think that it resonates with a lot of people. It certainly resonates with me. So again, just going back to the approachability of everything, I'm excited to see it come together, even just now, and the fact that we have an expert with us to be able to walk us through those steps, is actually quite exciting. Okay, so we have thought about eyebrow flex there. We have thought about what is relevant, and we've put out a little bit of a questionnaire that has come back. And with that, we've actually realized that there's a crossover that we could look into today, right? So when it comes down to digital marketing, which is, as you know, very hot as well, and e-commerce, which is something that is very hot and common already, there tends to be a little bit of an overlap that shows an opportunity that could apply, right? So, taking into account that, why don't we try building something, or expanding on the functionalities that would combine digital marketing and the services that are offered with the presentation or functionality of an e-commerce website? Could we try that?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Okay, let's go. I'm going to let you share your screen now, and I'm going to
All
be
right.
eating popcorn.
All right, so we can jump right in. This is the main screen on my right. I think that's where it should be. Yeah. Uh,
Yes.
so this is the main screen that you would see when you enter Hostinger Horizons yourself. It generally just gives you a main question of what you want to create because we're not just, uh, making something, we're turning an idea into a reality, right? It's kind of like manifesting in a way, you could say. So in here, this is where the fun starts. One important thing when actually using any kind of vibe coding tool in general, it's that the first prompt really matters. You need to make sure that your first prompt is as correct as possible and that you have as much possible as possible in there while not overcrowding it too much as well. So kind of like getting into the middle there is like very important so that you have a good starting place, but you also have somewhere where you can iterate and add more and adjust and go from there. So what I did here is I actually took the same idea that Mary here mentioned, and I just put it into ChatGPT. I said, "Hey, this is my idea. Please refine it for me so that I could use it as a prompt for hosting your horizons." And we did actually get a pretty solid prompt. So let me actually copy it over right here so you guys could take a quick look. There we go. We'll start from the top. And here it says build a modern, conversion focused e commerce website for a digital marketing agency that sells its services online. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there are some things that we can add here. So, if you guys are feeling like interacting today, I do want to hear from your side, what do you think our style could be? If you have any ideas of things like font, any specific fonts that you want to use, or colors, or brand, or let's say it could be like a style of website, it could be retro, it could be more modern, more minimalistic. There are many ways that you can describe a website overall. So I'm very curious to see if there's anybody in chat who has any ideas of their own of what they want to see, because we want to make this more interactive here, more customizable for you guys. So any ideas that you have in the chat, go ahead and put them down. Same thing also goes with another variable here, which is other websites. So what Hosting Horizons really does great in this case is that it can actually get inspired by other websites online. I have actually done various different tests with existing websites where I added a prompt for Hosting Horizons to improve those websites, and it actually made websites that were actually better. And I'm not just saying it myself, I'm actually saying it because our own viewers, our people that are using those sites, they voted for that as well. They voted for the AI generated website that was made with Hosting Your Horizons. So, with the power of that, we can also combine these two, like the styling and some kind of reference or inspiration, to make something actually unique, but also really flavorful and stylish at the same time. So, I want to see if we have any comments at the moment or anyone with any ideas.
So I'm monitoring YouTube and LinkedIn while we're waiting for possibly a couple of comments to come in. Could I just quickly ask, like, when you say that the most important part is the first prompt, right? Something that typically happens with vibe coding is that context is lost after, the second, third, fourth prompt. And this is something that we even experienced in the spookathon that happened earlier this week. What is typically like your recommendation when it comes down to vibe coding in order to maintain as much of the context as possible?
Mhm. So, something that actually really works, and something that might be very surprising, but it's using, like, if you were to converse with someone and you wanted to emphasize specific parts that you want to be kept or specific parts that you really want to be there, you
Mm,
put those words in all caps. Same thing actually works with Horizons. You can actually just put your specific feature or I don't know, some kind of like specific idea or function in all caps, and it will try to focus on that because it understands that it's more important to you. And that's
mhm,
actually, I think, pretty cool, because if I was talking to a developer of my own who'd be creating the
yeah,
website for me, then I would always want to, emphasize the specific parts with, all caps or bolding them or, using italics or something like that. So I think that's actually really cool how it reflects kind of like
mhm,
almost a real conversation this way.
yeah, okay. So
Hmm.
we have a couple questions. We already have a couple questions that are coming in, but it doesn't seem like anybody is really giving in aesthetic suggestions. So I say we go wild. Let's be creative here. So what let's start with a reference point of a website. Do you want to include a reference point of a website? What do you think would be a very good comparable foundation here?
Hmm. So, since we're going for like a digital marketing agency, I think one part of that is trying to be modern and trying to be above the competition, right?
Mhm.
So, if I'm thinking of a digital marketing agency, you're mainly probably thinking about like smaller ones that are maybe more local or maybe serve specific niches and stuff like that. But I think we could go even larger than that. So, we could actually, put in other tools or, let's
Yeah.
say other vibe coding platforms like
Mhm.
Lovable or Base 44 or
Yeah.
Wix or even something like what's it called again? Squarespace, right? So
Mhm.
trying
Mhm.
to keep like similar tone in that particular area, I think it also will provide with a very well wild but also interesting example.
Yeah. It's actually quite it's funny because it's not even about competitors now. It's like making reference to other vibe coding platforms as a part of the prompting process within something like this. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really
It
interesting to
goes full
see.
circle.
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. Yes, it's really
Yeah,
interesting to
yeah.
see that full circle come into play. Even the concept of using ChatGPT to clean up a prompt in order to make sure that the vibe coding aspect is at its maximum. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yes, let's go. In
For
terms of
the
style, what's your
Mhm.
favorite color?
Honestly, gosh, I am very much a
No.
sucker for purple.
Okay, so
Uh,
purple, and then we'll do um orange. Let's do okay. Well, there's the colors of Hostinger. Ooh.
yeah, yeah, well, sort of, right? But I think we can also add a little bit of a twist here. So, but make it retro, right?
Oh, oh, I like
So
that.
we'll try to see if it actually creates something, more a classic, right? So
Okay.
something like a classic, more, olden website. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not like the best look for like something that's going for very modern, but I think Hosting Horizons will cook up something really interesting here.
Let's see.
Now,
Let's see.
next up, we can also see that we have a goal, right, which is encouraging our visitors to explore, add services to cart, and purchase directly. We have tone and style, so we want to be confident, energetic, and approachable because we want to attract our audience to be crystal clear with them and as transparent as possible. It also wrote down kind of sections that we want, so a hero section, about section, services, how it works, right? Testimonials, pricing, FAQ, and final CTA. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
last but not least, even ChatGPT noted this for me is that using concise and persuasive language to make sure that the um, contact between the
Right.
website and the user would be as close as possible.
Right.
Oh, and I see in the comments someone did say orange and purple.
Yes.
So I'm
We're
guessing,
anticipating here. It's all
yeah,
in
yeah.
sync.
My psychic powers are at their maximum on Halloween. So let's actually jump right in and start this, right? So
Okay.
what we do here is we click the little arrow or we click enter on our
Mm-hmm.
keyboard and then we watch the magic happen. So on the left side, we'll see our full prompt that we just wrote down, right? That we copied over. This is kind of like the chat window where we will be talking with Hostinger Horizons. And on the right, we will see the code being written as well as some tips. And we will see the preview for our project as soon as it's ready. Now, since we did include quite a few different sections, it will take a little bit of a while, but while that's going, I do have a few things that I can also mention. I think it's very important as well, like when I mentioned the first prompt being one of the most important things, right? That goes into prompt engineering, which is its own different subject, how to engineer a prompt, how to write it down. But it's not really all about that because you can converse with hosting or horizons any way that you want. You don't have to be official or formal or anything. You can just chat with it like you're chatting with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I have seen situations where people are just chatting with hosting or horizons like it was like their frat friend,
Yeah.
right? From like a sorority or something like that. And they're like in the chat typing up, hey dude, I need this like really cool website, but this like feature kind of sucks. So could you like fix that for me, bro? And Horizons kind of, gives back the same energy, which I think is like really nice. It's kind of like also like reflecting back to you, and it adjusts to you, the user, to make sure that you're matching the vibe as much as possible. So that's
Right.
also something that you can use. It's not necessary to go full in on a specific type, but besides just things like the way that you'd speak with it, I'm
Mm-hmm.
guessing we do have people from international, well, different countries of the entire world. You can speak to Hosting Horizons in 80 different languages. So even if you are French, Spanish, I don't know, Canadian. Sorry, no, that was a joke.
No comment.
But
No
yeah.
comment.
But yeah, so you do have the opportunity to speak with pretty much almost any language that
Yeah.
is spoken worldwide. So I think that is also a really great way to include more people and have more inclusivity here, more accessibility.
Right. So
Besides
I
this,
actually I
oh,
have a bit of
go
a
ahead.
challenge while we're just waiting here because we've included a QR code in our lower thirds, which I know is definitely accessible on our YouTube channel. Um, and it should be back up on our LinkedIn feed for the event. So why don't you guys, whoever's in the audience at the moment, go ahead and try it out. Oh, there it is. It's popped up just now. Go ahead and try it out. That link. This way for me.
Oh,
That link that link is there to let you try it out. And a little bit early, we have the Black Friday promo as well. So why don't you vibe code with us? And to be honest, it'd be actually really cool to see what you guys come up with as well, even later on. So this comment section will obviously stay open, but please, if you guys have created anything, even on this demo, after this demo, whichever it may be, do share it. We'd actually love to see what's been created. So, ooh,
all right.
market
We have
boost just
our,
in
yeah,
time.
just in time. Speak of the devil, right? So let's actually jump right in and see what it cooked up for us. In this case, something that I also didn't mention before, but also very important to note is that you do have the ability to upload images. So even if you have an image of, let's say, a website, a screenshot, you can upload that and it will try to recreate the style as much as possible. And I've seen like I'd say like 90% accuracy of being able to recreate the exact same just instead in hosting your horizons. And it was from a bunch of different websites created with a bunch of different tools as well. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, you can also enable your microphone to speak directly to Horizons if you want to. Now, when jumping into the website, I'll open up full screen mode so that we could see up front. We can see that it generated a little header here, right, and everything. So grow your business with expert marketing. Here it added an image of performance, right, of how it could affect it. It noted who we are, so result driven, proven strategies, expert team, the services that are included, so SEO optimization, Google Ads management, social media management, and even email marketing and content creation. So we have the basic kind of essentials in there already, and even a step by step list of where it starts and where it goes further. Even has some testimonials already. Of course, these aren't real, they are generated. But at any point, if I did actually want to change something, and if, let's say I did want to adjust the names of these people, I can actually do that. And I don't have to prompt hosting horizons again. There is an edit content button at the top right here, which when I click, I can actually edit specific text. Now, some text are not available to change because they are either tied to specific animations or other
Mm-hmm.
specific elements, but you also have the option of taking a look at the code of the website itself. So if I were to look at the, let's say, the testimonials right here, I can see here's the text. I could also change it right here if I wanted to. So for those of you that are a little bit more knowledgeable in coding, you can also go around this way. But if I were to edit the content freely, I could take a look at this picture, upload a new image directly, and it will change without using up any prompts. Same thing goes with the text. I can just adjust it right here. So maybe delete this part, save that, and it will be saved like that permanently afterwards. So this is kind of like the first, like I'd say MVP that we have of the website itself. I'd say
Mm,
it looks exactly like we expected it to, right? It has pretty much everything that we want, right? Even has things like the pricing and even an FAQ included already. So you can also would be able to edit this text and adjust it to your liking, depends on how you want it to look like. And of
right.
course, a simple form to get in touch, maybe even contact details that you could take a look and add later on. So the contact details could be included here, like an address or a phone number or
Mhm.
anything else. I want to actually ask Marie, what do you think?
To
How
be
does it
honest,
look like?
I think so. First of all, color scheme, they really got on point with that. But I actually have a couple questions about the functionality because I'm noticing really, really key differences. And this is going off of some of the feedback that we received from our last spookathon as well. So when it comes down to the editing functionality, that's a really cool feature because typically other vibe coding platforms, you have to reprompt, right? So that also could be an element why the context is lost, because the prompt just kind of builds on and it doesn't necessarily always refer back to the beginning. So the fact that you guys have that is probably a massive hack, but also the coding functionality that accommodates the traditional developers. I mean, in some of the other platforms, you can see the code, but you can't edit it. So why was that? Do you know why the feature behind that was built into it? Is this based on the feedback, or did you already know that this was going to be problematic? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. This was solely based on feedback. We have our own Discord server. I can plug it a little bit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Hostinger Horizons Discord server where we have a whole community of people that are always conversing with each other and sharing their projects, asking different questions, also troubleshooting. We even have like community champions that represent our interests and also represent the interests of the people. So they always share the feedback directly to us, and we kind of mix and match all of the feedback that we get overall. So the coding part, the ability to edit the code was a really huge request from the developer side because we
Mm-hmm.
noticed that more and more developers started using Hostinger Horizons. And one of the main key reasons of that is that they want to create websites more easily for their
Yeah.
clients. So if you're, making a website with WordPress and you're taking, I don't know, let's say 6 to 8 hours with content editing and all that, right? With hosting your horizons, you could take like up to 1 or 2 hours instead. So obviously, it's a matter of productivity, minimizing your time spent with jobs that you can automate or make a lot more simple in this case.
Okay, that's really, really cool. To be honest, I'm actually going to go ahead and share this with our developers and show them the recording of this webinar and say, see, look, it also accommodates you.
Yeah, yeah.
On a side note, I actually have a question coming in from Adeline on the content and design aspect of it. So will it also check whether there is a contrast between text and color background?
Yes, yes. It will actually double check itself to make sure that the text doesn't kind of merge in with the background.
Yeah.
So it will check things like that. It will also check if there are any, let's say, conflicting fonts
Mm-hmm.
or fonts that might not actually like fit perfectly. So it
Mm-hmm.
is trying to center itself as much as possible. In any case, I've only used one prompt, right? It's been
Mm-hmm.
only
Right.
one prompt. Our
Exactly.
minimal plan that we offer for about $7 per month, it's 30 prompts.
Oh,
So
wow.
imagine what you could do, right? If you're just using one prompt for one website like this, and it pretty much already looks kind of complete,
Yeah.
right? So just kind of iterating and doing updates on that, it just makes it easier for pretty much anyone to jump right in
Uh-huh.
and do what they need to do to reach that goal. And
Oh,
one more thing that I also wanted to mention is the ability to integrate. Now, you're
Mm.
probably wondering, or maybe you're not wondering, but I still will mention that what if I want to add something additional here, something that, I couldn't really add to a regular website, like an AI chatbot? Or what if
Mhm.
I wanted to connect it directly to my specific database and store that information, like client form details or specific information or data that is being saved on the website? So we have a dedicated tab right here called integrations, where you can connect a database directly. We have a partnership with Supabase in this case. And we also have things like analytics where you can check how well your website is doing and where your traffic is coming from. In this particular case, I won't be able to showcase it because the website is not published publicly as of this
Right.
moment,
Mhm.
but that can be done with just a simple click and like 5 seconds. After that, you'll have your own dedicated link. While it will have things like our specific keywords in there, you can always connect your own custom domain that you can purchase directly from Hostinger as well with just 1 or 2 clicks. So it's always in arm's reach. And finally, if we do have an e-commerce site, we want to have an e-commerce store in there as well. So we do have this online store module that you can easily connect with just 1 click of a button. We even have a dedicated YouTube video that showcases how it works together and how e-commerce can become not just a, how should I say, not just like something that you slap on and you forget about it, but its
Right.
own kind of backend system that you can keep up with and you can browse products, your customers, fill out shipping details and all of that. So while it not might be as advanced as something like WooCommerce for WordPress, it's
Mhm.
meant to be accessible because Hosting
Right.
Horizons is also accessible as much as possible. So
Mhm.
while this is running in the background, which should take like a minute or two, if Mary, you have any questions, please go ahead.
Yes. And actually, we have two questions that overlap some of the things that you've just mentioned. So, coming in from Jimmy, if you were to compare this to Shopify, for example, how and where do admins go to manage the products? Or is this done through AI vibe coding?
So that's a very good question, actually. That is why we have that backend for the online store, the e-commerce part of the website, where you can
Mm,
just go directly in there and manage your products from there. If I wanted to, I could share access to my Hostinger Horizons plan through my Hostinger account. And then that person with that specific email address would create their own account from which they could access this site and jump directly into the online store inside of Horizons here and manage the products themselves. Though we do understand that the process is not as smooth as it can be, the user flow does need a little bit of work. We are constantly working on making sure that it's as optimized as possible. So we're constantly working on more and more updates to improve the flow of sharing and understanding the journey the user goes through. If let's say they're sharing credentials or
right.
providing more, I don't know, freedom to their clients or users to, make use of what they create.
Right. Okay. And then in terms of, for example, this touches on another question that was asked as well regarding credits. So you mentioned that the lowest package that you have involves 30 credits a month, right? So what on average would you say is required to build a, let's say if we wanted to complete this product and we had hours and hours to do it, what would be the average usage of credits to create something? And then kind of let let there be sufficient amount of credits left before revisiting and editing later on.
hmm So, in my personal opinion, for a very solid and great looking website, if you do focus on that first prompt, which is really important, I'd say it could be anywhere between 1 to 5 prompts for
Okay.
a really great looking and functioning website. One thing to note as well is that AI isn't perfect, like, right? So there can be some hiccups here and there,
Yeah.
errors happen from time to time, though Horizons does scan the website for any kind of errors that may happen and tries to fix them automatically from its side. If it can't do that, then it will also ask you to intervene a little bit by clicking a button, but that's pretty much the extent of troubleshooting you'll ever have to do. It's just clicking one button to fix the error. Now, in this particular case, I can see that it's pretty much done with the eShop component. So here we
Mhm.
can see it created, added, well, the services.
Mhm.
Now, when adding the e-commerce element, the e-commerce module that I mentioned, it will create very basic products to use.
Right.
So in this case, it has, a handmade vase, face
Yeah.
serum, a set of plates or hand soap. Of course, this
Mhm.
does not reflect exactly what we want. But what we can do is under integrations and online store, we can easily jump into the store manager where we will
Okay.
be able to make adjustments to the products, create new ones, and just go ham on where we want to be. So we named it Market Boost. So let's continue with this particular name. We even have a little checklist on what we recommend to do to ensure your, you know, online store does well online. And under the products right here, we can also take a look at the different products that were added automatically as kind of like a base. But we can also import our products directly through a CSV file or even add products directly by also choosing what kind of product it would be. So in
Right.
this case, it could be physical, it could be digital, it could also be a service, which is in this case what we want to offer. It could even be a donation or a gift card. And
Mhm.
if I were to pick something like the service in this case, I could even do something like upload my own pictures. If even I had some kind of physical product that I want to sell, then let's say it's a red dress, we can upload the picture and it would generate the details for it with artificial intelligence, meaning that it would pick things like the price for the dress automatically. It would write a description for it based on the image, a title, a subtitle, all the things that you would need. So if anybody has any kind of physical products that they want to sell, you can also easily do that by just letting AI kind of scan through the images themselves. But
Right.
yeah, here is where you would put in the title, the information about your service, the price. You also have additional info sections and even options. So since I want to sell digital, services in this case,
Mhm.
we can also take a look at things like a term, right? Or like, let's say, how would you call that? Like, yeah,
An
like a term.
advertising term?
Not like an advertising term, but like a length of time. So,
Okay. Okay.
uh,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. In terms of
yeah,
like
yeah.
the options in the drop down menu.
Yeah, so it could be like
Okay.
1 month, or it could also be like 12 months in this case, or
Right.
it could even be like 24 months. So we
Mhm.
could add that as an option, right? And we can individually adjust each one, their prices, their discounts, right? And even choose specific pictures for them. So if we have a specific picture that we want to showcase for a specific service, like it has like a little subtitle at the bottom that says 12 months or anything like that, or like a different bonus or discount for a longer term, then it's easy to do right here directly inside of the product manager. And yeah, there are many more other things that we can take a look here, like discounts, analytics. There's also additional integrations that we can take a look at, like the ability to have print on demand with
Mhm.
Printful, which is a
Oh,
new
wow.
integration that we recently added. And of course, not forgetting things like your company details and your payments that you can set
Yeah.
up based on where the country you are in. Also, things like shipping details and information, and even taxes that you can also set up directly inside of the store. So there's a lot to go through here. I won't do it all for you because there's also a YouTube video that I do recommend to take a look at.
Mhm.
But generally, this kind of like should give you guys a gist of what it looks like. And at any time, we can just exit out of there. We could jump back in here and start making more changes, asking it to adjust pictures, designs, right, fonts, styles, or anything like that.
I think to be honest, one thing that's been really impressive throughout the showcase here today is the fact that it's not just vibe coding. It's now vibe coding has now enabled further functionalities as well, whereas some of the other platforms it's just focus on vibe coding, so they lack with integration or database or storage or payment provision, and just the ultimate functionality. But because of the feedback I'm assuming that you've also received, but also the dev work that you've put behind it, you've checked off a lot of the basic and fundamental things that people are looking for when they want to build something. So it's almost like AI in this case, or the vibe coding aspect, is just the kickoff point, and then you just have this massive selection of everything else that you can add. But one of the questions that came through is on payments. So you touched on payments earlier when it comes down to what are the can this integrate with a payment gateway, and I saw Stripe and I saw PayPal. So it's almost like you've or obviously anticipated the functionality, but that comes from where Horizons was before, right? So this is now the substitute or the complementary element that just ties everything together and maximizes functionality.
Yeah, exactly. And the e-commerce module that I showcased, it you don't really have to use it if you don't want to. You
Right.
can actually just, ask Horizons to integrate Stripe for you directly. All you would
Mhm.
have to do in that case is just, add your API key directly from your account, and that's pretty much it. So it will teach you and showcase exactly how you should do everything. And that's, I think, kind of like the magic of vibe coding is that you're not just, I put in a prompt and then it does everything for you. It also teaches you if you ask it to. So you can always ask Horizon, so teach me how do I add a payment gateway of this kind to my website? And it will showcase a step-by-step like guide for you on how to do that. And it's not just, kind of you putting in 0% effort
Right.
and getting a result, but you're also, you feel a complete vibe, like a sense of completion
Yeah.
with the website because you feel that you put your hand in there and you actually made some of the changes, you learned something new, which is I think is one of the biggest things with vibe coding that people don't really think about. It's that you're still learning, new things and how it works and how it integrates to each other. And that's kind of like the like big mysteries of exactly
Right.
how much can you do at that point then, right? So when does it stop? But at the moment, I haven't seen it anywhere close to stopping. It's pretty much infinite.
I mean, it's quite humbling as well, because I think that when it comes down to machine versus man, it's very much we think that we are providing the input and then they just execute. But really and truly, there is I never even thought about prompting to teach me to do something, because even doing things with ChatGPT, it's I'm telling you, I'm giving you instructions and you execute. So inviting that process of, okay, let me learn as well, but having that human element is just, it's a very, very nice balance. And I think you guys really got it right. I mean, I'm curious to see what other people have built as well in the 30 minutes that we've gone through this demo. I'm actually probably going to go and challenge a couple companies to give this a go as well. But it's honestly, it's been very, very nice to see, and very nice to see it come together. Are there any like final touches that you think are really cool that you'd like to add to this specific example? Is there anything off the
Mhm.
top of your mind that you have seen really well in maybe some of the other projects that you have going?
It really, there's really so many different projects that
Yeah.
I've seen and so many different ways people go around not exactly the same kind of problem or like the same hurdle. Like you see one person jumping over it, you see one person going around, you see one person digging a hole under it. Like so many different ways to tackle, that problem, I'd say, of creating that website. But I can say that I've seen like people create like 3D graphics as well inside of
Oh,
Hostinger
wow.
Horizons. I saw someone create a model, like they created an apartment building model because they were selling flats or like apartments in that apartment building. And for each individual apartment, it had a 3D model that you could like look at so you'd know the shape of the apartment itself. And that was all made inside of Horizons. So it's actually mind blowing because I've never even thought about something like that before.
I mean, I think that just goes to showcase as well that even though this is, obviously on SaaS Genius, we focus a lot on B2B SaaS products, it really does apply to any industry, to any vertical. And, from real estate to architecture to marketing, it touches on so many different aspects as well. honestly, Carlos, thank you. Thank you for your time today. I'm going to give a couple more minutes because I know that you have a train to catch very soon as well. Um,
I do have one more thing that I do actually
Go
want to,
ahead,
I guess,
please.
showcase here. I think that might interest some of you people as well. If you are interested in trying out Hostinger Horizons, we do have a Black Friday sale going on right now, but that's not the main point. I think the main important part is that you can test it out for free. You can test it out for free, 5 prompts for free. We created this website with a functioning e-commerce element with 2 prompts only. So, you could even use those 5 prompts to create something really unique and cool, but kind of like something that might tingle some of yours, let's say, competitive bones is this new community initiative that we released called Built with Hostinger Horizons. And essentially, what it is, it's where you can submit your own project that you've made with Hostinger Horizons and get a chance to win 100 free AI credits. And it resets every week. So each week we have new winners, and
Oh,
top three
wow.
places get 100 free credits. And at any point, you can actually just scroll by and see what people are creating and vote for your favorites. I can see there's the vape distribution directory, a perfume finder, a real time currency converter, right? There's something like a CV builder, something like a housing or tourist development website, right? You can even filter them also by different kinds of categories like finance, e commerce, entertainment. And in a very short amount of time, we'll also have things like templates available. So if you're very shy and you don't really know where to go or what to do and with your first prompt, we have things called Hostinger Horizons templates. They're called remixable templates, where you can actually just create directly from an already made template. So there are templates that we have made that are also professional. They are made from, a designer point of view, where all you have to do is just click preview, select it, and then just move on, and then change things like colors, I don't know, text or anything like that, and start even from a closer point, right? If you're not looking at, if you're not going with one, massive prompt to start with.
That's To be honest, I'm glad that you mentioned that because that ties in really nicely to the live demo today, to the fact that you guys are maintaining that engagement with your community, and the fact that you're also giving out 100 free credits for the winner and it renews every week just encourages the practice and the accessibility of everything. So it really ties in really well to the whole vibe, no pun intended, but the vibe that you guys are letting out with this. Carlos, I want to thank you for your time. I continue to invite everybody to drop those comments, drop the questions in the comments, both on LinkedIn and on YouTube. We will be sharing this with Hosting Our Horizons, and probably Carlos himself will be in touch with you, getting firsthand expert responses. So please do that. And then obviously we'll be in touch. I really hope that you guys enjoyed today, and going through all of the details and the functionalities that Hosting a Horizon has to offer. Wishing you guys a happy, 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 happy Halloween and a great weekend ahead. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.